They sacrificing Diddy. They said, "Man, you gotta take this because we can't be involved." But Diddy smart. He filmed every session. So he was Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music Group. So he got them on some tapes. Now that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends.
Everybody and their mama thought Diddy was untouchable until the elites flipped the script and sacrificed him to save their own necks. Eddie Griffin just stepped up and exposed the real reason they threw him to the wolves, and it's darker than y'all think. If even half of this is true, the whole game just got exposed. But before we go any further, let's rewind this whole thing back to what them Diddy freak-offs looked like. Isolated environments, wild gatherings, and transactional relationships. Allegedly, young individuals were present, phones got taken for privacy, lots of celebs were present too. Y'all remember what Allie Carter been saying about them parties? Yeah, the girl who's been claiming she saw all that chaos up close. According to Allie, this didn't start when she was grown and chasing clout. She says it started when she was still under the legal limit. She's claimed that the foster system she was placed in didn't protect her at all. Instead, she alleges that certain foster homes were funneling young individuals to powerful people, and Diddy's parties were one of the destinations. Not as guests or performers, but as party favors.
I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. Alright? Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington. Over the border was for who? Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those are going?
Now fast forward, Diddy ended up serving time following those federal charges connected to arranged companionship and transportation allegations. Right now, he reportedly doing 50 months at FCY Fort Dix in New Jersey after first being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. On the surface, it looks like justice finally caught up with a man who lived wild for decades. But dig a little deeper and you start seeing a whole different picture. This might not be just about one man's downfall. Eddie Griffin been stepping up lately, pulling back the curtain on why the elites decided Diddy had to be sacrificed. Think about it. For years, Diddy moved like he was above it all, throwing those legendary parties where power, money, and secrecy mixed heavily. But Diddy did not just party. According to the talk, he had recordings, tapes, and leverage on a lot of big names. That kind of dirt gives a man power, but it also makes him dangerous when things start crumbling.
Bruh, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house.
Eddie Griffin, coming through with the real tea, explains why the elites could not let him keep running loose. Diddy allegedly had his own little blackmail system going, similar to how Epstein operated for years. Both men had access to the same elite circles, private islands, hidden properties, and powerful people doing things they would never want public. Epstein had his cameras everywhere, catching folks in compromising positions. Diddy was moving the same way. Those freak-off sessions were not just wild nights, they were setups. Baby oil by the case, no protection in sight, people caught up in moments that could destroy careers and reputations if the tapes ever leaked. Y'all remember what them elites did to Epstein after he got taken into custody and was going to talk wild. He allegedly got silenced. Same thing they doing to Diddy.
Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images.
Once the feds raided his spots and the stories started pouring out, the powerful names tied to him got nervous. They could not risk Diddy flipping and spilling everything he had on tape. Griffin breaking it down makes it clear this was not random justice, but a calculated move to protect the network. The elites sacrificed one of their own to keep the bigger machine running smooth. Diddy knew too much, had too much dirt, and when the heat turned up, they chose to cut him loose rather than risk the whole thing exploding. Eddie's saying, allegedly, the raids on Diddy was all planned by the industry giants like Universal Music Group, Clive Davis, and Lucian Grange. They wanted to seize blackmail tapes Diddy had on them. According to Griffin, these figures leveraged their connections within the FBI and Department of Homeland Security to confiscate the incriminating evidence.
They sacrificing Diddy. They said, "Man, you gotta take this because we can't be involved." But Diddy smart. He filmed every session. So he was Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music Group. So he got them on some tapes. Now that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends.
Now, if you've been tapped into the streets, you already know Clive was the gatekeeper, the man who could open doors or keep them locked. Diddy walked in young, hungry, with big vision, but no real power yet. Word is that meeting with Clive wasn't just about music. It was about deals, access, and understanding how the industry really moves. Allegedly, Clive got involved with young Diddy in ways that went beyond business. Folks remember that interview where Clive openly talked about being bisexual.
Let's talk about that decade, because this was the decade where you were really struggling with your sexuality. And in your book, you reveal that you are bisexual. Why did you wait so long, Clive, to make that public?
Well, first of all, I was only turning to bisexuality after my second marriage failed, so that it was not an issue through my life. Neither of my marriages were affected. I was totally attracted to women. When the marriage failed, in the mid-'80s, I opened myself up to the possibility that I could have a relationship with a man as well as the two that I had with a woman.
Sean Combs learned the rules early, how to control, leverage, and keep young talent close in ways that benefited the machine. And now, word is, he decided to bite them fingers that fed him. Clive made Diddy and allegedly broke him when he started playing the blackmail card. Think about it. Diddy was first being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the same place people constantly complain about because of the harsh conditions, overcrowding, and chaos inside. Word is, things allegedly got messy for him there. Dude was literally attacked, woke up to a knife to his throat, and eventually being transferred out. Now, folks believe Clive and them elites had a hand in it.
Well, I'm outside the federal court building here in New York City, where P. Diddy has just been sentenced to 50 months in prison. So that's 4 years and 2 months in prison. He'll also have to serve 5 years of supervised release and pay a fine of $500,000. And that's related to his prostitution-related offences that he was found guilty of at trial a couple of months ago. Offences relating to his freak-offs, or hotel nights as he called them, with his former girlfriends and male escorts. We heard from the music mogul for the first time today. He addressed the court pleading with the judge for mercy, to give him a second chance, apologising to his victims and describing his actions as disgusting, shameful and sick. We also heard from his 6 adult children, who, many of them in tears, also asked the judge to give their dad a second chance, saying that he is a changed man.
Griffin also pointing at others who had something on Diddy. Steve Harvey, who was seen vacationing and linking with Diddy heavy before distance, got created real quick once charges dropped. Will Smith, whose name kept popping up in party stories and old associate claims. Even Denzel Washington got pulled into the conversation after Ali described seeing him at one of them gatherings. These are the type of respected figures who could not afford their images tied to the mess if Diddy started naming names. So when the moment came, turning on him became the safest play for them. Diddy had become a liability. The same way Epstein got handled when he threatened to talk, Diddy got hit with everything they could throw at him. Federal raids, leaked videos, lawsuit after lawsuit. The machine moved fast once they decided he had to go down. As the stories kept unfolding, more pieces started fitting together. An ex-bodyguard of Combs leaked disturbing tapes showing how deep the control went, with situations involving Cassie and others that painted a picture of dominance and hidden arrangements. Some of them tapes allegedly came straight from Diddy's own collection, the same ones that had elites sweating. Jay-Z name been linked tight to Diddy for decades. Same parties, circles, quiet moves. When the pressure hit Diddy hardest, Jay went real low-key. Eddie Griffin suggests that kind of silence speaks volumes. If you got tapes that could touch even someone like Jay, the elites had every reason to make sure Diddy never got the chance to use them.
Drika, how would you describe Cassie's demeanor when she took the stand today?
When she walked in there, Rachel, she had on a brown dress, form-fitting, visibly pregnant, head held high, and did not make any eye contact with the defendant, with Sean Combs. Also interesting, is she said that after that first freak off, she said she felt dirty. She didn't want to do it.
It's testifying that, these physical threats. One thing that stood out to me that she said was, if she made the wrong face, the next thing I knew I was getting hit in the face. And she said he controlled almost every aspect of her life. He gave her essentially busy work, a to-do list, so he would know what she was doing at all times. If he couldn't reach her, he was incessantly texting her until someone went and checked to see where she was. She also said that he controlled her appearance. Sometimes he didn't like her hair. He wanted her to dress sexy, sometimes a tomboy. He wanted her nails to be white, she testified, especially during the freak-offs. And one thing that she said she was concerned about was blackmail, because a lot of these freak-offs were recorded, and the big concern was hers that they could end up in the internet if somehow she did something to upset him.
Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You're saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. There's no vindication for me because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
The pattern is too consistent to ignore. Epstein got silenced before he could fully talk. Diddy got buried under charges before his full list could drop. Both men operated in that shadowy world where billionaires, moguls, and celebrities cross paths behind closed doors. Old photos, charity events, private flights, it all resurfaces once the spotlight hits. Naomi Campbell, Orlando Brown, Bryshire Gray, names that got pulled into the conversation because the internet started connecting timelines and environments. If Diddy started singing, a lot of powerful people would have serious problems. Eddie Griffin voice cutting through the noise reminds us this goes beyond one man. It's about a system that protects his own until protecting them costs too much. Diddy went from king of the hill to inmate number whatever, sitting in Fort Dix thinking about every deal, tape, every connection that led him there. And while he sits, the same elites who partied with him keep moving like nothing changed. The online community been going crazy. One user said, "The more I think about it, the more I see that there's no escape for Diddy. Quite frankly, they have too much dirt on him for him to squeeze out of this one." Another user goes, "Correct, but he has promised to take them down with him." Then this person wrote, "The real evidence are in the hands of the white hats." Yet another said, "They had that evidence long before that raid. That raid was a show. He needs to sit down and be quiet." Then this user bluntly said, "The FBI won't be able to bury this one. It's too big. Too big to rig, baby. Spotlight on you. What happens if more tapes surface? Do you believe Diddy was sacrificed to keep the bigger secrets safe? Are we watching the elites clean house before more names drop? Or is this really just one bad actor finally getting what he deserved while the rest keep playing the same game? The dots keep connecting. From Epstein to Diddy, from the parties to the tapes, from Ali Carter stories to the bodyguard leaks, Eddie Griffin just made it harder to look away. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and trust, if you thought this was wild, click that next video popping up on your screen. It's just as crazy.